Welcome back to another episode of RecTalk. I'm your host, Nitin Sharma, the founder and CEO of RecTalks.io. I'm not going to go into RecTalks.io today. I'm going to actually say thank you for liking, subscribing and sharing this channel, for all your comments, your questions that come through and all the support. We've been doing this now since, I think the first episode went out in like March 2023. We're now well over 11,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is far beyond what we expected. So a massive thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being involved and being part of this journey. By the time this goes out, I would have already been at RecFest doing a live podcast there. We're due to go to the Recruitment Expo to do a live podcast on stage there. And then we're working at the moment with Boardroom engaged to do some sort of live podcast at that event in London too. So none of that would be possible without you guys. So thank you very much. Which kind of brings me on to my guest today. You'll know him as the fun, engaging kind of marketing guru that comes up on your LinkedIn feed every now and then with some real kind of nuggets of gold. And really what I wanted to talk to him about today was about, we're in this kind of world now where marketing finally has a seat at the table around that boardroom. But is that necessarily a good thing, and is it now the right time for that? So to kind of unpick that, give me his thoughts, opinions, and maybe say some controversial things. I've got MJO here. Mate, thank you very much for making the journey down.
Absolute pleasure. Like first time in the can I say metropolis? I'm going to say metropolis of Coventry.
Quite, yeah.
It's and let's say this is the first time I've been been in a sky blue pub. I feel like I'm sort of wearing blue. Kind of counts.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they got the darts on later, so there's chairs all moved around. I have to kind of work with the set as it is, but these guys do a great job.
The vibe is good.
Appreciate it. So, look, let's start unpicking this, right? Marketing have finally got a seat at the table. And when we say that, we mean the board table, right? The boardroom. They're no longer the colouring and department in the recruitment community, which is great. Certainly for people like me and you who are like flag bearers. Mm-hmm. But we've got to kind of almost address the elephant in the room that some of them aren't quite ready to be there yet and can't quite maybe accept that marketing isn't just about likes, impressions and shares and the fluffy shit. Actually, you can and should be linking revenue directly back to your activities. And how will you do that?
Yeah. I think this opens up a whole can of worms around so many things. What's really interesting is that this is almost just cutting at the quick of what recruitment marketer's job is, or the evolution of the recruitment marketer's career. Mm-hmm. Because I think a lot of recruitment companies, when they hire recruitment marketers, they hire someone sort of at the very, very early stages of their career. They're sort of 2 to 3 years in. Yeah, the best case scenario, probably a little bit less. Mm-hmm. And for want of a better word, young marketers get asked to do like the dog spotting work. They are asked to do the colouring in. They are asked to do the social media. And they're like, oh, we need something up on TikTok. I need you to do that.
That's usually driven by the fact that those recruitment agencies are going on a journey themselves. And actually, part of accepting that there is a need for a marketing person comes from kind of looking at competitors and looking outside and going, holy shit, we're not doing any of that. We need to do some of that.
That's true. Well, the problem is, I think as a lot of recruitment marketers grow and develop, they start to realize, hey, listen, I've been here for a while. I've been doing this job for ages. It's about time that I got that promotion, dagnabbit. I want to be a marketing manager. I want to be senior marketing manager. I want to be head of marketing. And what they think it is that they just have more say on the fluffy stuff. Mm. They have more creative control over that. They by gone, should have a budget. And that is what it means to be a senior marketer. Mm-hmm. There is no other industry, well, there probably are plenty of other industries, but it's so acute in recruitment where they think that promotion just means having more control over marketing. What they fail to understand, and it's the key to unlocking pretty much every aspect of their career, is that to be a senior marketer is to understand more about the business, not just more about marketing. I think there is the issue. We have a lot of marketers who start their careers in recruitment and kind of get bored and kind of tied down because they think they're just going to be able to just be doing more of the same, just at a higher level. We don't train our recruitment marketers to be well-rounded marketers who understand.
But it's
revenue.
hard to unless you've got somebody within the business who can train and develop that person, right?
Well, that's exactly it. But isn't this true of anyone in recruitment? Any senior salesperson, any senior ops person, you kind of need to kind of open the door and show them around the corner and say, well, this is actually why we do this, or this is the rationale behind this, or this is why we're opening up a desk in this city. You have to kind of like demystify that as well. I don't know if it's a lack of trust or if it's sort of reticence about wanting to kind of push someone who has, for the most part, done a lot of really good work around brand building. And I hate to say fluffy stuff, but that's kind of what it is.
But it is the fluffy stuff, isn't it?
Is.
This is it. It's the stuff that, is immediately thought of by a sales director when you say marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's just the posts and the likes and it's the fluffy stuff, right? But actually, it goes a lot deeper than that, and we know that. And people are now starting to accept that actually there's a lot more value that a marketing department, let alone or an outsourced solution or an in-house marketer can bring to the table. But how do you go from somebody who cannot articulate direct revenue from marketing spend to being able to have, because think about it from the journey of, I started here as a junior marketer, got promoted again. I'm now called marketing manager. I've never worked in a marketing department or another marketing business ever. I did Google AdWords course, and I've got an account manager there that talks me through some things. It seems to work. I did my Google Analytics course. I've figured out a little bit about SEO, and now I'm being invited to come and sit on the boardroom meeting, and we're talking about expanding into this market or this territory or this country. I'm out of my fucking depth. Like, where do I go? Where do I, like? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like that sort of imposter syndrome kind of just goes with you, right? Because how else are you supposed to where do you go to learn these things?
It's phenomenal how many marketers haven't trained in marketing. And I say this myself, was my academic background was, I went to uni and did English because I kind of knew how to write, so I thought, well, that's vaguely what I want to do. And then I spent a decade in journalism. So where writing is kind of like a secondary thing. The ability to be able to take information and be able to speak to people, that was far more important. Yeah. But when I fell into marketing, and I think people talk about people falling into recruitment, marketing you fall into all the freaking time. It was something that, I didn't have that 3 to 4 years of like, these are what the 4 Ps are. This is the academic grounding behind it. The stuff that Mark Ritson talks about all the time. Like, there's no marketer has ever become less because they've learned more about marketing. That's what he says. And I think that a lot of marketers kind of, it's not the lack of the grounding, lack of the kind of the basics, but in order to understand how the basics work, they've got to understand how other parts of the business work and understand the role of the CFO and the role of sales and ops and how it all kind of like fits together. They complain a lot about marketing being a silo, but they play a large part in that. Like, you can actually open the silo and bring in other elements too. I think that what it really takes is someone, if you don't have that senior person in marketing to kind of like say, well, this is young Padawan, this is what you need in order to grow. You need someone senior in the business to say, okay, we've got a personality who fits the scope. This is they're really good at the core tenets of their job. What I really need them to do is to understand how the business functions from this aspect and this aspect. If there's not a course for it, well then, there's some kind of training around that. This is what I need to do to kind of like bolster that. But always bring it back to, this is why it relates to marketing. Because as soon as you start saying, I want you to learn about this abstract area of business and not actually clue it in with marketing, you kind of lose marketers. And
Do you think the silo that comes from, within our industry, comes from the fact that the majority of our recruitment business owners are former salespeople, former recruiters? And they can't speak marketing. They don't quite understand marketing. And they're on a journey themselves, and they've now accepted that, hang on, there's this thing that's happening, and all of a sudden, businesses are my competitors that have got a good social presence are starting to win my clients, and my staff are now starting to move over to work for my competitors because I'm missing. I've accepted that something needs to change. I need to bring this marketing person in. That is probably about the limit to their knowledge, right? So they don't understand kind of how, what's the benefit in me sitting down with MJ and going, listen, I need a salary survey. Why? Well, because my competitors are doing it. I don't know. And you go, well, I don't know either. Fuck it, we'll do a salary survey, but like none of us really know, because the ones that get it really right are the ones that are going, right, we need a salary survey. Why? Because I want my consultants making more phone calls. We want to give some value back to our clients and our candidates. And actually this entire project itself needs time, effort and energy putting into it, because it's a validation piece of who we are as an agency and who we are as a business, and gives us additional sales tools to go after our clients and candidates with.
It's that legitimacy piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, what's really interesting here is that, and I think, I know you just used it as an example, but I think salary survey is kind of like, it's a nice meaty example. And the scenario you just described is one that happens all the time, where someone says, such and such recruitment are doing this, why aren't we doing it? So it's the solution is what's leading the conversation, but rather, hang on, when we're talking to our clients, they always talk about this thing, or this thing, this thing. What's something we could do to what's something we could give to them that's there? Well, if we, they say they lack knowledge in this and this, well, maybe we, what's something we can do to kind of like put ourselves in the space and so put ourselves front of mind. And so that goal becomes the focal point from which something like a salary survey or some other piece of content
maybe the answer,
flows.
or could be something like,
It could be something else on top. It might be something that your competitors are doing and you're just doing it better, or something completely brand new. But it's always like, what is the goal? What is the reason why we're doing this? And I know that is the marketing cliche of cliches, like know your why. Well, know why we're doing this. Like, what is the objective? And what's the business case for doing this thing? And I know a lot of marketers talk about that. They say that, we got to have goals, we got to have strategy. Strategy, I think, is the most misused word in marketing. Because basically what they think it is, it's just tactics with a fancy word attached to it. It's like, oh, well, the strategy is that we're going to be on TikTok. That's not strategy. I'm sorry. Like
that's an idea at best.
Exactly. Well, like the rationale for it, like, well, we know that we need to get the attention of a certain audience, and we want to be front of mind, the place they spend all their time. Well, what is the place people spend front of mind? Well, it's this place here. That is almost step 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
It's not the first thing. It's not
the decision to be on TikTok, as an example, is the outcome of the strategy.
Exactly.
The strategy is what are we looking to achieve? What's the end goal here?
Exactly. It's born of the goal. The goal needs to come first, and the goal needs to be, well, the reason why this business in this time in the year of our Lord 2024 is doing this thing is because it wants to increase revenue by 20%, or it needs to break into this market. Like, there's a core boring business reason why you do anything in marketing.
But that core boring business stuff is what gets you that seat at the table, right?
Exactly.
It gets you to sit in front of the CFO and say, yeah, I spent that much money on a summer barbecue. But actually what we did was...
we had X number of conversations.
Exactly. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So we went out to our prospect list, and yes, there was an element of, 50 people turned up, but actually only 5 of those were paying customers of ours. 45 were new customers. They knew nothing about us. And off the back of that, this is the revenue that we are potentially going to generate, because these are the vacancies we picked up. That leads to this much in pipeline, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But do you think maybe the lack of that sort of conversation comes from, again, the barrier being so low to enter as a recruitment marketer?
Mm-hmm.
You come in junior, you don't quite understand the financials and how it all comes together. You haven't really got anybody to learn from and be mentored in either recruitment or business.
Yeah.
And therefore, you just don't think to have those conversations, right? And that's where you then end up getting into kind of a back and forth on LinkedIn about, we're not a colouring in department. Okay, well, what are you then? We don't have a budget. Okay, well, you do have a budget, because your job wouldn't exist without that. Without a budget, you wouldn't be paid, right? So you do have a budget. And it's not this disconnect of like the fluffiness versus actual cold business language.
Yeah, I think there is, a lot of recruitment marketers get their jobs because a lot of recruitment businesses, like, we need someone to do marketing, or we need someone to answer the emails from Total Jobs. And so they kind of get themselves into a corner, because after 18 months to 2 years, when it's natural for a person to be like, okay, well, I've done this job for a couple of years now. I want to start thinking about what my career could look like. They realize they've gotten very, very good at doing marketing for a particular company. But that does not necessarily mean you can take that and apply for another job or promotion.
It's the 80s secretary, isn't it?
It's exactly it. It's exactly it. And it does take, I mean, perhaps this is a little bit, you're going to be in a better position to correct me on this.
Go on.
But a lot of recruitment leaders almost, by virtue of saying, I don't know anything about marketing, that's you're the expert. They step back, and when that person starts growing and starts to evolve, they think, oh crap, I actually don't know what to do with this person now. I'm in a position where they're really good at what they do, but how do I, A, get them to stick around, and B, make sure they stick around and grow in a way that's going to benefit me in the business? And they kind of go, oh shit, how do you grow a marketer? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it takes...
Maybe I promote them and give them a pay rise, because that's what I do to my billers, and they seem to stick around.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll invite them on lunch club once a quarter. Yeah. Surely that's enough. Yeah. Don't you people want that? Isn't that what you want? It takes a particular kind of business leader to actually step back and say, okay, this individual, takes up a certain spec. They've got this skill set.
Yeah.
They've learned this about the business. I don't need them to necessarily be better at doing tactical marketing. I need them to be better at knowing how marketing fits with what our 2 to 5 year plan is.
Yeah.
This is what that is. And I'm going to have to get neck deep in a whole lot of revenue talk and a whole lot of operational talk. But in order for you to grow within the business, in order for you to develop, in order for to have a relationship that's going to work, you need to understand this other part. This is the undiscovered country for you.
What are we doing? Why are we doing it? Where are we heading?
Exactly. This is how we're going to do it. And you become a master of more than just being really good with job boards or being really good at social media content. Yeah, and it takes a leader to kind of actually go, all right, not think of this person as a marketer. Think about this person who has a certain skill set but could actually develop more. This is what the ROI of that development will be for us.
Yeah.
That, I think, that's actually quite rare. But the ones who are successful, the ones whose businesses do grow, the ones who keep their marketers, they've got that.
The ones that are killing it right now have got the blend between, I say even the blend, they've accepted that it's no longer sales versus marketing, and it's a lot more of marketing and sales together, right? We've all accepted in recruitment that our recruiters need better personal brands on LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. Some of us have even gone as far as spending money on our consultants to go and get a better personal brand on LinkedIn.
I want to ask you about this.
Right? But that's personal brand is marketing. That's not sales.
I agree. What do you think is that? What do you think that is born of? Do you think that is the product of necessity, or kind of like a keeping up with the Joneses thing? Or is it the fact that the perception of recruitment is so deep in the mud that we need to have, any consultants seem a little bit more polished and they will be better than, 99% of what else is out there. So when people talk about, in recruitment, when they talk about personal brand, I'm like, well, not all of you are going to be fucking Gary Vaynerchuk. And thank God for that, just on its own. But what does it actually mean to have a personal brand, a good personal brand in recruitment? Does it mean you are the flashy all over LinkedIn, you're the zigging, the zagging, your videos all look good, you've got great engagement? Or are you the guy who picks up the phone, dials a candidate you haven't spoken to for 2 years, and they answer your call and say, I was actually thinking about making a move. You're always front of mind for someone who's, the part of you're front of mind for the person who is looking to move on. That's a great personal brand. And people who talk about personal branding kind of ignore the fact that there's so much feedback out there for what is good in recruitment, what is bad. Like, you just need to spend 5 minutes on the recruitment.
What do your candidates want, and what do your clients want from you as a recruiter?
What do they hate? Right? Yeah. What do they actually can't fucking stand about recruitment?
And this survey's been done many a time. Right? Clients and candidates have been asked several times over, what do you want from your recruiters?
Yeah.
I would bet my mortgage not a single one of them's gone, I want them to be a minor celebrity on LinkedIn. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're asking for that. At the point they're going, I really want them to be a LinkedIn influencer.
I mean, I know we are living in hell, but
Well, yeah.
but no one has ever said, I want a minor
influencer celebrity as my recruiter. No,
Yeah.
they're not asking for that. What they're asking for is things like, I want the person to pick up the phone and respond to me and email me back in a timely manner. Give me feedback when I ask for it. Find me relevant candidates. You know, make sure those candidates are prepared for interview when they turn up. Make sure they're not scruffy and stupid looking when they decide to turn up at interview in a tracksuit or whatever it might be, right? They have real life frustrations.
Yeah.
And a personal brand is perfect to address those things, because actually, personal brand isn't about posting on LinkedIn every day, right? But that's the bit that everybody gets wrong. Just like a pattern disruption sales call isn't about asking for 30 seconds or shall I, kill my dog. It's let me ask you something you don't normally get asked so that I have an opportunity to conduct a conversation with you. Personal brand is a lot more than just posting on LinkedIn every day. But if all you see from your LinkedIn celebrity influencer types is make sure you post every day, here's a selfie of me sat in a coffee shop looking over this way that I've asked somebody to take so that I can put a little thing about how important personal brand is in the profile of the conversation of what I'm talking about. That's not personal brand. That is not what your recruiter. That's not what your recruiter should be doing. As a business owner, you're not trying to raise a mini fucking team of celebrities, right? You're trying to make them be better recruiters.
Yeah.
Marketing plays a huge part in that.
Yeah.
But marketing isn't just content, and marketing isn't just posting on LinkedIn every fucking day, right? The whole thing around personal brand is completely, in my opinion, I think it's sort of completely skewed, right? I went from working at Michael Page to setting up my own recruitment business. Everybody in my LinkedIn network knew at least something about me, not through just my LinkedIn posts or my videos or whatever, but the fact that I will talk to candidates in such a manner that we were familiar. I've got people that they always go in recruitment. You never forget your first. I know my first 5 placements off like by name and still talk to them. We'll still shoot them messages and be like, really proud of you. Like, I remember our place you was this, and now look at you, absolute flyer. Like, love it, right? It didn't cost me any time or energy to do that, and I'm not running a desk. That's personal brand. I've got people that will always like and share and comment on my posts because they remember what I was like with them as a recruiter. That's personal brand.
Yeah.
That's the bit. Now you can go on a training course to figure that out, or you can do it by just figuring it out yourself. But like just becoming a minor celebrity on LinkedIn is not the answer. And where recruitment business owners are really getting it wrong is this whole just put something on LinkedIn. Just put something. We need to post something.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's just noise. It's fucking just noise. People then try and I get really pissed off about the people trying to trick the algo. When they like their own post. Bore off, you twat. And that's not going to work for you. That is just it makes you look stupid, right?
Yeah.
Don't do stupid shit like that. Don't do dumb shit like, oh no, I only post on Tuesday at 2 o'clock because that's the optimum time to post. 300% is how much the volume of content has gone up in the last 12 months. 300%. You post at 12 o'clock on a Tuesday or 4 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's going out there, and if it catches on and if it's hitting the right marks with the right type of people, the algorithm will pick it up and decide to boost you out there and put you in front of people. If it's boring, pointless, stupid shit, it's always going to be boring, pointless, stupid shit, and it ain't going to get anywhere, no matter what time of day you post it and how many times you like your own post. This complex algorithm that knows what people like and engage with and can push that out. But my God, it can't tell the difference between your like and that like. It's the same thing. Like, just so stupid.
It's the thing what like people say, particularly when it comes to using LinkedIn. Like, don't build your house on rented land. Like, it's
Right.
you're at the capriciousness of a massive multi-billion-dollar corporation in Microsoft, for one, who will change the algorithm and change the entire layout of the site to suit the price
Right.
to suit one entity and one entity only, and that's them. That's it. And so you're constantly playing a game of I like it. I call it Calvin ball. Calvin and Hobbes Calvin Ball's the game he plays with the stuffed tiger, where he makes the rules up as he goes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. Like, you're basically playing a game where you don't really know the rules. Everybody's playing the game, but nobody's rules are the same. That's a quote. But the thing is, we think that just because it's the most visible platform, it is the most necessary one. The best recruiter I have ever worked with, the one who billed the most, this is not the place I worked at before, the place before that. And I won't mention him by name because he is never on LinkedIn. His profile on LinkedIn doesn't even have a photo. He is so nondescript. But let me tell you how good of a biller he was. He is such a good biller, he was never included in the league table because there was no point. He would be the top biller in the company every single year for like more than 10 years. He was always like, well, the top biller for this year is such and such. We've had a little bit of an asterisk because really the guy over there is the top biller.
Yeah.
But he
doesn't want or need the accolades.
Doesn't need it. You know what? Why his personal brand is so good? Because he's good at his fucking job. You have a plumber, you have a builder, you have a painter, you have a doctor. What are their personal brands? Why do you trust them above everyone else to do a job? Because they're good at what they do. At the core, at the essence of what recruitment is, the best recruiters, the ones with the strongest personal brands, are the ones who find that candidate, find that job,
Who do the job.
do the job really
Not
well.
shout about doing the job or talk about who they are and how good they are at doing the job.
Yeah.
Physically go and do the job. Yeah, you're absolutely bang on with the don't build your house on rented land. This is the crux of the problem within our industry. We invest heavily in job boards as business owners, heavily, right? But ignore our own websites.
Yeah.
Our own website, which is our front door, which is our window to our business, we don't post our vacancies on there. We post them onto CV Library, as an example, or Total Jobs, or Monster.
Yeah.
And then when those companies turn the prices up, we cry and bitch and moan. How fucking dare they do that to me? Right? But you could be attracting candidates via simple things like SEO and AdWords and bidding on the right things within your super niche sector and getting people to come directly to your website and applying for your vacancies on your website, not on a platform where they not only apply for your job, but his and hers and his and hers and hers and his, and potentially the same job 4 times because it's a multi-job agency job, or potentially I'll apply for your job, but then I'll apply directly to the client as well. Like, we just don't seem to get that correlation of the job board acts in its own favour. It advertises the jobs not only of mine, but my competitors and my clients. And so maybe I should not rely so much on that. Maybe I should focus on getting them on my own website. Yeah. And then we do the same with LinkedIn. Oh, well, the entire database on LinkedIn is essentially our target market, so we must be on there. Okay, then you get an audit your recruiters when they doom scroll on LinkedIn and spend all day trying to figure out what to post and that kind of thing, and you're like, Jesus Christ, how much more time are you going to invest in these secondary and tertiary platforms where they should be spending that time in your database on your business? And the same with your marketing teams, right? Your marketing team should be doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
How much content gets posted on a business on a company's website?
Well, that's the thing. There's two saddest stories on any recruitment company's blog. Number one, the recruitment blog, which hasn't been updated since July of 2020, when the second lockdown ended. It was like, oh, great, well, we don't do that. Yeah. And the one that posts all the time and gets zilch. It's either misguided effort, or it was effort that was really important in some way, but it's no longer important, or it's busyness for busyness sake.
Yeah.
What we need, and I sound like I'm standing on, I'm just a sermon from the mount here. It's like, what recruitment needs, but what recruitment marketing needs is just some focus, and that focus needs to be predicated on one thing and one thing only. Does this make this business money?
Right.
That's right. The reason you bring in a marketing function is to make money. Marketing goals are business goals. What are business goals ultimately? Money goals. It's an innately commercial thing. So the idea that recruitment companies get all butthurt because Total Jobs raise their prices by X amount. Well, guess what? We live in an innately capitalistic commercial environment. Okay, that cost has gone up. You either suck it up and pay it, or you increase client fees by X amount, or you find something else.
So what would have happened in any other industry?
Exactly.
What happens when the price of apples goes up?
Yeah.
I have to pay more for apples.
Yeah.
Tesco's don't go, oh no, the price of apples has gone up. We can't stock apples anymore. No, they go, yeah, fine, no worries. Well, they're going to pay for it then, aren't we? Oh,
exactly.
Did we do that in recruitment? Did we turn around to our clients and say, guys, really sorry, but the job was that we so heavily rely on to do our jobs for you, have increased the prices by 65%. Our fees are now no longer 25%, they're 45%.
Well, this is the recruitment apology tour, isn't it? Because we're embarrassed that we have to charge, the fees that we charge.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It almost like and this is, I think, quite acute in recruitment marketing too, that we are almost apologetic for actually doing marketing. And it's embarrassing that we do marketing. It's even more embarrassing we do marketing for a recruitment company. And recruitment companies can't go cap in hand being like, oh, please, sir, our fees are 25%, but we could go. We
negotiate.
Where's the chutzpah part? Where is there's a reason why you engage in a staffing and talent acquisition business like us. The reason you work with us because we predicate ourselves being able to find the people that you normally wouldn't be able to find. And then we get them to the interview, we close them, we do all that important stuff. Let's face it, we do it better than your talent acquisition guys because, well, they're under-resourced and they've got, they're basically pseudo-HR as well as talent acquisition. But the thing is, I don't know many recruitment businesses that kind of lean heavily on that and are proud to do that and make that a
the
part
ones
of
that
it.
do, I will hang my hat on the fact that they have a great blended sales and marketing approach.
Yes.
Because salespeople are great at selling, marketing people are great at telling the story.
Yes.
Put them together and you're selling a fucking good story. Let me tell you why you're going to pay me 25%.
Exactly. Oh,
because you don't want to do the shit that I'm going to do for you.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. And we'll do
Cut all of the other bullshit out. You can recruit this job yourself. Be my guest. Go on to CV Library. Pay the however much it costs to access their database for the week or for the month. Ring through all those clients and all those candidates. Leave them messages. Send them emails. Do it. By all means, do it.
Do the calls. Do the initial screening. Disqualify the ones who don't have
visas.
visas.
Get ignored by the ones, and tell the Subway manager that applied that sorry, mate, you are not you might be a great manager at Subway, but you are absolutely not a management accountant. Do it by all means.
Yeah.
Do it.
Cool. And then after 6 to 8 weeks,
yeah, that's it. When you can't be asked to do it anymore because you realise that you've got a job to do, then you realise you need to pay me, and then you will understand why I'm asking you for 25%.
Yeah.
Right. But this is the same kind of mentality of the businesses that have moved to a retained model have moved to a retained model through, again, a blended approach of the sales team understanding why they're doing it and the marketing team understanding the message so that together they're able to communicate that effectively to their client base and say, listen, I'll do that job for you, but let me tell you why I'm not going to do it contingently. I'm incredibly busy. I have a lot of people asking me for my time. I have the deepest network that is out there of my competitors, and I hang my hat on that.
Yeah.
If you want my time, pay me a third of the fee up front. If you're serious about this hire, that shouldn't be a problem to you. Yeah. If you're just using me as go on then, you have a look while my other people have a look, and I don't care who fills it. I don't want that kind of business stuff. See you later.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, that's again, to use like the example of a painter, that's like inviting them in, picking up the colours, getting them all set up with the rollers, and then being like, we're going to go with Steve. Yeah, listen, this is how it is.
Yeah.
There's a reason why recruitment businesses I think let is the right word. Let people do that too.
Is absolutely the right word. Yeah.
And it is because, ultimately it's, there's the volume of, how many recruitment companies are in this country? There's of scale, there's something like more than 12,000?
No, it's actually over 30.
30,000.
35 or 36,000.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's the third largest recruitment industry in the world. So it's the barrier to entry, essentially not, I don't want to say non-existent, but it's extremely easy.
It's low. It is low, yeah.
But it's things like the scarcity mindset becomes, the dominant mindset.
Do you know why I think we let that happen though? is, and why contingent recruitment has been so prevalent, is because historically, and I get lambasted for this, and I'm more than happy to have this conversation with anybody.
Let's do it.
Recruitment used to be a sales job.
Mm-hmm.
It's not anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
a marketing job.
Mm-hmm.
Recruitment is a marketing job. And the businesses that have accepted that recruitment is a marketing job work retained,
Mm-hmm.
or they work at higher fees and exclusive.
Yes.
The recruitment agencies that still operate as a sales business, it's a race to the bottom. Mm-hmm. They argue over fees. They negotiate based on rebates and payment terms. They use payment terms as a way to negotiate a fee because, that's the only thing they've got.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll work competitive jobs, super competitive jobs in really competitive industries, and will tend to work a generic recruitment desk.
And they're afraid to lose business.
That's it. And they'll scramble over it. They'll be fighting over pennies.
Yeah. God, it's so true. It's so true. And
it's embarrassing.
It's
really embarrassing.
It is.
The problem, the issue that I have with it is that people don't see that there are people making money off the back of those sorts of businesses, right? Mm-hmm. There are people that will charge for community groups and NED services and business support, mentorship, and all the rest of it, that will charge these people to spout bullshit advice like dial the phone more, be more competitive on rates, diversify your markets, and all the stupid sales bullshit that used to be the case 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. Recruitment, not just recruitment, like the sales world has changed, and we had this conversation off camera. The sales, how we buy things has changed. Mm-hmm. Recruitment has absolutely changed. You can't sell me a job. Well, listen, Benjamin Dennehy, best salesperson I know, couldn't sell me a shit job. Because if it's a shit job, it's a shit job, bro. I don't care how much I like you. I ain't doing it. Mm-hmm. You can't sell me. You can market an opportunity to me. Yeah. You can market my CV out to people.
Yeah.
You can attract me to apply for your vacancy through colourful language and exciting opportunity that makes me feel things that the other adverts don't make me feel. And then you give me a great service on the phone, and I think, you know what? All recruiters are shit, but that guy, he's good. I like him.
Yeah. I didn't feel. I felt like there was something there.
Right.
There's something valuable.
That's in its essence is marketing. The emotion, you spark that kind of, you plant the seed that grows into whatever, right? Yeah. However your sort of, however you spin on it is, that there's more marketing in the recruitment process than there is sales. Mm-hmm. So the businesses that approach it as a sales business are the ones that are struggling right now.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to. They're the ones that are struggling. They're the ones that are going, oh, it's a tough year. I've had some really good recruitment businesses on this podcast who've had record-breaking year after record-breaking year during a time where everyone else was bitching and moaning about, oh, it's been a tough year, My recruitment business shut down because my former business partner was a salesperson and he treated it as a sales business. That's, I'm living proof of that, right? And it's like, God, when are we going to understand that? So you can hire a junior marketer.
Well, that's the thing. One of my favorite quotes about marketing. It's from Seinfeld, Kramer.
Wow.
Yeah, don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle.
Yeah.
The thing is, you sell the sizzle, but at the same time, you're gonna want to eat. It needs to have something meaty behind. It needs to be, needs to have that substance. And that's the thing, because it's all the things you've just talked about there, basically like romancing a candidate or romancing a client into working with you. That's when marketers talk about that vainglorious thing of storytelling, and I think it's just fancy wordplay. No, but it's getting to the essence of what actually makes people tick, and then finding a way to deliver that. That is key. But at the end of the day, it's got to be something that they actually want. It's got to be. You've got to.
People will only buy something if they need it or want it.
Exactly. Because we were talking about this before. It's the idea, you just said, if it's a shit job, you're not going to get it.
I'm going to do it. You can't square peg a round hole. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
You can try. You might just about manage to get it to fit, but at some point it will fail. It's not going to work.
There's no square pegging. There's no square pegging.
Yeah.
This is almost this is almost Seinfeldian right there. You can't square peg, Jerry. You can't square peg.
You can't do it.
You can't do it.
Mate, I just I find it gobsmackingly obvious sometimes, and it's sort of I don't get where the disconnect is with people where they're kind of nobody can honestly give me a genuine example of when they were cold called or sold something that they didn't want or need, right? I'm yet to have a single person give me an example of that. Yet for some reason, we invest so heavily in sales and sales and sales is the way forward. Where it's sort of like, guys, the market shifted, people have shifted, consumerism has shifted. You know, why is it that most other brands and businesses have accepted that, except for the recruitment sector? It's where we still want to go into work with our suits and ties and our fucking, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Well, the thing, it's insane. Like, you know, you get given, if you're a recruitment for a particular kind of recruitment company, you get the script, and this is, if they object to this, go to this and say this and do this. And that just seems to me like it's an exercise in running up against a brick wall over and over again. And this is how you position your shoulder if you want to make a little bit of a dent in it. Whereas, you know, there's a little bit of information to say, well, actually, this is how you chisel out the door and you can walk through it. It's a little bit more work, but it requires a little bit more emotional intelligence and a little bit more kind of like, you know, awareness of what a person actually wants and what motivates them. But it's a lot more lucrative and it's a lot better. And guess what? It actually has that tiny little bit of humanity around it, which people say the recruitment sector fucking lacks completely. And it's insane, isn't it insane how, like, people say, what do candidates want? What do clients want? And yet you just go on Google, go on Reddit, type in recruitment, and it is open season. And
a lot of it is fair. That's the thing, right?
It's fair. It is fair. But you cannot tell me, you cannot look me in the eye and say, why do candidates behave the way they behave? Just because you're doing the stuff that they say they hate. Don't do that stuff. Like, don't ghost. Don't, you know, sell them jobs, which, you know, try and sell them jobs they don't want.
And again, the ones that are not struggling right now, they're the ones that are getting it right. And do you know what? They're the ones that are really quiet and you don't hear from them.
Yeah.
You know, I always say this because whenever we have because I love the recruitment industry and I love recruiters, and I think I get so annoyed by it because I'm like, you guys could be so much better than you are.
Yeah.
But it's not your fault. It's the industry that's made you this way. The sales approach and the kind of the stupid people who's like their time's over, who are still fucking for some reason lingering around. Those people's advice is what's making you the way you are.
Yeah.
I love recruitment. I love the guys in recruitment, and I think there's so much more we could do. But I get really get like some hate comments like, "Oh, I heard you on the podcast chatting shit about recruiters. If you hate so much, why don't you leave the industry?" And I'm like, "You're the problem. You are the problem. This is the issue. Like, you're not hearing what's being said. You're not listening to your candidates. Your candidates don't want you to behave that way, but you do it anyway. Why? Because and you said this really, like, it's a really key point that I don't think enough people understand, really. The storytelling thing. In marketing, we storytell, right? We discuss the journey, the outcome, the fluffy shit, right? In sales, feature, advantage, benefit. Right? I'm going to feature, advantage, benefit you, the client, or that vacancy. That's a tough sell.
Yeah.
When it's a shit job, or we ain't paying very well, or the location's far, or a combination of all those things. It's a tough sell.
Yeah.
The storyteller piece, that's easy.
Yeah.
That's easy. With any opportunity, it's easy. Because there will be the one person out there, because there's only that one vacancy. It's that one person that needs to see that story and go, that's me. That speaks to me.
Yeah.
I shall apply for that role. Right? If I call you and sell you the role and convince you to go for an opportunity, and, you know, he didn't know me, he didn't know about the job, didn't know about the company, and now he knows me, the job and the company, and he's going for an interview on Monday, he's going to bomb. That person's not going to that interview.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's exactly it. And I think just to kind of bring it back around to the storytelling thing is really interesting to me, because careers are such an important part of who we are. And you know, we make fun of work and be like, you know, if I won the lottery, my life would be so much better. Well, yeah, okay. But a lot of people, you know, they derive meaning from the work that they do.
Yeah.
And you've told me that you've worked in tech recruitment. You've spoken to techies all the time, and nothing kind of riles them up as much as you pitch them a role which they don't have the tech skill for, or I'm a front end developer. That's a back end role. And essentially you like forget about the detail. It's like what they're saying is you actually don't know me. You don't know what makes me tick. You don't know the kind of innate value, what I'm looking for. And that's the essence of the storytelling. That is, well, actually, this isn't the story about a man who runs a lot of, this isn't Tom Hanks' Forrest Gump. This is the man who runs everywhere. That's what the movie's about for 2.5 hours. It's the story of a man who represents what it is to be American, and the story of the 1960s in Vietnam, and encapsulated in this one simpleton. But he's a simpleton you can identify with, and you will possibly cry at some point because you kind of empathize with that. Well, that's the same thing with jobs. Same thing with recruitment marketing. It's essentially selling the story about what actually made a person be able to be, who they are today and where they are today.
And you can't storytell a job if my client is a leading aero fucking manufacturing, based in the heart of FTSE listed.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. How many jobs? Like, it's, when people talk about, something's written by AI because it starts with in the first of all.
Elevates.
Yeah, well, you can tell an ad is written by a recruitment company because my client is looking for. Yeah. That's great. If I'm a candidate, I couldn't give a fuck what your client is looking for.
Yeah.
Tell me what I'm looking for. Make me fall in love with what you're presenting.
Exactly, right.
And that is the essence. And again, when we say recruitment is a marketing job, it's being able to do that. But this is the other thing as well. Well, now I'm on a tear here.
Yeah,
I'm onto something. Because we in marketing, we gatekeep the branding. We gatekeep the storytelling because we think, oh God, if we leave it to the sales team to do this, it's going to be bad. Yeah. We're basically going to be getting,
my client is a...
My guy, I'm telling a story. Thing is, we talked about the one person who you can't write. We don't let him do job ads because he's terrible. But he's also the one guy that when you're stood outside the pub on Friday, you are captivated when he's telling you some wacky tale about how he did this, this, and this. You can't tell me. You're telling me that person doesn't understand storytelling? Oh no, they do. They just don't know how to write, or they don't know how to put it in the context of a job ad. Storytelling is a natural part of who we all are. Mm-hmm. We all know how to storytell. We all know what kind of gets people interested. Potentially when you get to an age where you're just going to become the rambling old man, where you've lost the sort of back. Yeah. But everyone knows the guy who can spin a yarn. Yeah. And the thing is that the mechanics, the structure, how to do that can be taught.
Yeah.
Knowing what makes a person tick, that is hardwired in us. It's just the case of how do you tease that out? How do you bring that out? Everyone's got that. And recruitment marketers, we are the ones who could do that.
And that's a really good point, because actually, if we're really honest with ourselves as business owners, how much time do we allow our marketing people to spend with our recruiters to learn about those jobs that they're recruiting for?
Oh, yeah.
Read through those notes and go, I'll tell you what, I'll put this advert together for you.
Yeah.
Not just an advert. I'll tell you what. Let's put a recruitment campaign for this vacancy.
Yeah.
So I'll write a really captivating job advert. I'll also create you 3 bits of content that you can post at different points and different types of content, and I'll make a couple of social media videos about it as well.
Yeah.
And let's get it out there, and let's see what comes back.
Yeah. This is the story of this. This is the kind of person you're looking for, and. We could go down the usual road. We could slap together, the bare basics, job description with a whole bunch of bullet points, and that'll meet the minimum.
Fantastic opportunity.
Fantastic, yeah. Well, it's insane. Here we are, in a cost of living crisis. Every job is a fantastic opportunity when so many people have been freaking laid off. They're like, oh, good. Does this job pay money? Yes, then that's a fantastic opportunity for me. But there is also that ability, and that it drives me crazy because this could be. It could be done so well, so easily.
I think it will be soon. I think the next 5 years are going to be completely transformative for our industry, because much like in the tech space, and much like in kind of automotive retail and banking, consumer awareness is at an all-time high, and consumer awareness drives change.
Yeah.
Right. consumers got to a point where they're like, look, I don't want to have to speak to you about a new car and you about a used car. I don't know if I want a new or used car. It depends on the price of the product, right? It's cash or creative. They're the two things that drive people. If the cash is right and the creative's not good, I ain't buying. If the creative is right and the cash ain't right, I ain't buying. If the cash and creative are right, I'm going for it, right?
Yeah.
The automotive industry changed. The way mobile phone industry, like the sales, so retail sales changed, right? Independent coffee shops, the rise of those, driven by consumeristic reasons and consumers changing their preferences and what they like and all the rest of it. Consumers drive change, and our consumers in our industry are both our clients and our candidates. Our product and our consumers are the same thing and the same person and the same product, right? And so I think the next 5 years, they're going to start demanding more from their recruitment agencies, especially when there's agencies out there that are like, we'll give you the level of service that you're not getting from everyone else.
Yeah.
I think it's a worrying time if you're a big PLC. Because more and more clients are looking at the niche and the super niche recruiters and going,
slide mile deepers,
something there, and they're getting you talk about seat at the table, they're getting a seat at the table. I think that there's a lot to be said for the freelance mentality of people going into recruitment to set up their own, not to grow and scale and exit, but actually just to be like, listen, all I need is 4 clients. 4 clients who give me a vacancy each a month. I'm sweet. Yeah. I can handle that, I can fill that.
Yeah.
And I can charge a nice chunk for that, right?
That's enough.
That's it. Plus with the amount of RecTalk and automation and software that's hitting the market left, right and centre, I think now we're at prime to change. And so actually I think we're at a point where it's going to be a case of like, we're going to see better quality job adverts. We're going to see mini campaigns for vacancies. It's not going to be have you got your job advert out? It's going to be have you ran your campaign around that vacancy with that client?
Yeah.
Did you get your socials out? Did you get your video out? Did you get your job advert out? Did you get your mail shot out on our database? Did you do all of those things? Because that is all about the candidate outreach. That's the campaign. Did you do your candidate campaign?
It's a Michelin star kind of service, isn't it?
How much better is that if you're a client? If you're a client, happy days. What a great service. If you're a candidate and you're like, hang on, I'm connected to MJO and I've seen him post about this job and he's emailed me. The job advert reads pretty well. And I watched that video that he did as well, of the walk around or whatever he did. I do like this. Yeah. Rather than here's one of 55 vacancies I'm working on today. Boom. Look how busy I am. I'm a great recruiter. I've got 25 jobs on.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't want. If I'm hiring, I don't want a recruiter that's got 25 vacancies. Working my job. I'm going to get the bottom of the barrel.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like the account manager who's got like a book of like over 100 clients. Well, you're basically a glorified automated service. It's. Let me ask you a question. This is something and you operate. Not you've been within the sector, but you're in the RecTalk sector as well. Do you think we're in a RecTalk bubble? Do you think that there will come a point where
yes.
And what do you think? What do you think is going to be the differentiator? What's going to make in 5 years' time? Who is still going to be standing? Not necessarily from a tech point of view, but what is the structure, the mentality of the business that will still stand?
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. So, I think there was a huge drive in RecTalk and kind of automation businesses within the recruitment sector who, I don't even think I know this, right? There was a lot of people who took a lot of money from VC and PE. Party's over, time to go home. The VCs want their money back. The PEs want their money back. Fuck tinkering around with your product now. Stop fine-tuning it, sell the bastard thing.
Yeah.
And that's where you realise how actually the product that you have built and invested in either doesn't quite fix the problem that you set out to fix, or the problem's just not big enough. And I think there's, I would never name people because I think that's unfair, but there is a lot of product in the RecTalk space at the minute where the problem just isn't big enough for that to be a solution.
Yeah. And
they're in trouble. I genuinely believe they're in trouble. A lot of people have built products with the sole purpose of selling to the likes of Boardroom and Access Group and the big boys that have got money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after a series of poor outcome investments, where investments have happened or acquisitions have happened and haven't quite gone the way they wanted them to,
Mm-hmm.
I think these guys are also now, the big checkbook guys are going to start pulling back and be like, hang on a minute. This is all smoke and mirrors. It's all bullshit.
Flush.
Yeah. We could build this ourselves. We live in a world where, listen, I'm a guy from Holbrooks in Coventry. I live in a 3-bedroom, like a 3-bedroom terraced property around the corner from where I grew up, right? People get knifed on my street, people get robbed, it's not a good area. I have no right whatsoever, given my education, my financial background, and my kind of the way my family are in terms of where we are in social class. I have no right to be sat at a table talking about building a tech business and an automation business and this AI suite that we spoke about, right? I've got no right to be having that conversation. But the world that we're in now has opened that door for me, because I can fund that myself and bring out to market an MVP without the need of a PE or a VC-backed business. We're about to change the game. The RecTech sector is about to change. There are people sat out in, like Eastern Bloc of Europe that have built some fantastic stuff that Silicon Valley won't be able to compete with. That, let alone the London RecTech sector will be able to put things out with. So absolutely, we're in a bubble. Absolutely, we're in a bubble where it's imminent. The burst is imminent. There's a lot of these guys that are going to either have to merge with each other to survive, or they'll be shutting up shop and going home.
And I think there is not even like too far below the surface, but right sort of bubbling below the surface, that one consistency there is quality. Yeah. It's this one thing it's good, it's built well, it's robust, it does the job, it provides an excellent Michelin star service, and it's fantastic. 30,000 recruitment companies in this country. And everyone's talked about bubbles and like how hard it's been in the last 12 to 18 months. You can't tell me, ladies and gentlemen out there in recruitment YouTube world, that same kind of attitude won't stand recruitment businesses above everyone else. If they lean in on quality, if they actually develop and build something which is what the market actually wants, what it really, really wants, then yeah, I'm telling you, I think that is what's going to happen next 5 years. Absolutely. That is the space that a recruitment marketer must occupy. They must find a way to say, in order for our business to grow and thrive and to be kind of like this bastion of quality, we need to be able to do this and this. This is how marketing, this is how storytelling, this is how customer service, this is how all of that plays into it. And this is how I, as a recruitment marketer, am going to lead this and present that vision. That is it.
This is it. I think with what recruitment marketers within recruitment businesses need to be doing right now is taking that kind of Rory Sutherland's approach, right? Of, let me put a new spin on this.
Yeah.
I don't want to buy a house, on a flight path near Heathrow. Okay, but if I'm deaf, that's absolutely where I'm going to live. I don't want to buy a house next to a pub, but if I like beer and having a pub next door to me, that's great, right? It's sort of finding the spin on it to be like, hang on a minute, there is a new angle to this. But I have this sort of saying, it's a wrestling saying, but like it kind of rings home for me all the time, and I always use this, is I really like the fact that I consider myself to be the colour red in a sea of black and white. Because it's lonely. It's a very lonely place to be. But eventually it works, and that people are like, what is that? That's what I want. What the fuck is that? And this is where I think we are as a recruitment industry right now, is that you have black, you have white, you want to be the colour red in that sea of black and white.
Absolutely.
You want to be, because that's the place where your prospects are going to come to. That's what they're looking for. They want change as well, man. Candidates want change. Clients want change. Jesus Christ, they're sick and tired of the same shit as well. Yeah. Internal recruiters. I'm going to be running by the time this goes out, it would hopefully be out in the next week or so. But I'm doing a live podcast at RecFest with internal recruiters and talent leaders. And the question is going to be simple. What the fuck do agencies need to do? How do agencies work with you better? What are they not doing? What do you want to see more of? And I'll hold them to account as well, right? With you've got to build relationships with us. How the fuck do you build a relationship with someone who don't email you back, don't answer the phone to you, and ignores your messages? Right. What do you want? He's not standing outside, like, you know. Like,
yeah, this isn't. He's not standing outside with a boombox playing in your eyes, and that's the thing. It's if you want us to see around corners that you either don't have the time to see around or you can't see around, what do you want us to look for? And that's a real open and honest conversation. But the other thing about the way you flip that around is, if that means that aspects of what an agency offer is redundant, then why are we afraid to talk about that? Yeah. What is the fear? Is it all of a sudden like, oh, well, that's 95% of our business? Well, guess what? You're going to have to find you're going to have to find either 95% of your business or grow that 5%.
Or grow that 5% out. Yeah, whether you like it or not, that's the fact, right?
And that's it. And those are. I don't know. Is it a British thing that it's an awkward conversation to have, and so it's innately avoided?
I think so. See, I have a really low tolerance for bullshit, and so I would, if I've got an issue with somebody or somebody's got an issue with me, I would rather us have that conversation, get it done and dusted, and then kind of be like, all right, cool, we cool now, right? So that's it. We don't have to be friends, but we can just settle it. I don't like things lingering on and on.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, a lot of people just they find that confrontational. That's always been my problem, is that, oh no, you're really confrontational. Like, I'm not, I just want to fucking get this over and done with. I don't want to, or if you say something that I don't agree with, I'm not going to be like, oh, okay, and then look this way and be like, what an idiot. I'll be like, that sounds a bit dumb, mate. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not attacking you, I'm just giving you my opinion on it.
Yeah, we talk a lot about how, particularly in recruitment, that it's all there's an awful lot of bullshit, and there's a lack of why can't people just be more honest? Like, your issue is not with the honesty, your issue is with the way in which it was delivered.
That's it, or the acceptance of that honesty.
Yeah,
we don't want to hear it. We don't want. Why do we not do regular client calls to ask services? How are you finding our service? We're just scared of the truth.
Yeah.
Why don't we message out every 2 weeks, 3 weeks to every candidate that we've spoken to that week and say, hey, do you want to leave us a Google review? Because we're scared of the fucking truth. Because we're deep down inside, we know that we're going to get a lot of fucking bad reviews. Yeah. So we just don't do it.
Yeah.
Right? But you know what? So one tip I would have for recruitment marketers right now is run focus groups. I've started doing this recently. It's so powerful. So fucking powerful.
Oh, God, yes.
Just run focus groups. People are happy to give you their time. If you A, ask for it, and B, give them a good reason. Yeah? And that's not listen, can you join my focus group and I'll send you a £10 voucher. No. You can run a focus group for free. You just be prepared to hear a few no's. I ain't got time, not interested, blah, 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 fine, cool, no worries. But if you can get 5 or 6 prospect clients or, existing clients onto a focus group that you run as a recruitment marketer, you go to your MD and you say, listen, I run a focus group with 5 of the biggest engineering businesses in our region. And the focus group was entirely around what other value add stuff do you want? Do you know what they said? They all want this, they don't like this, they love it when agencies do that. What a starting point. And what a way to earn your seat at the table.
Exactly. Because I guarantee you, one of the first responses you'll get to that is, oh, didn't know that. That's really interesting. Or
right.
We've kind of been talking about that, but we didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Yeah. Lean into the fact that you're a recruitment marketer and not a salesperson or the business owner.
Yeah.
Because your prospects will give you the time because you're not in sales, you're marketing. You're not going to try and sell me something. Fine, yeah, I'll jump on a call with you.
Exactly. And this is it. Any other industry, any B2C company worth their salt, like market orientation is a massive part of what they do. And yeah, it's something that recruitment marketing, just as far as I know, if they do it, they do it quietly or they don't do it at all. But holy shit.
There's a handful that absolutely do it. There's a handful, but for the most part, yeah. They just use as, we said right at the start, they just use as the colouring in department. Yeah.
Then it's not a marketing team. It's a comms team. Yeah. And that's it. Like, okay, well, unless you're a multinational business that, has media queries like every day, you don't need a comms team.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah,
you skill your recruiters to do that then. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Yeah. And it's maddening. And again, there are people within recruitment marketing who could do this really well, who understand that. They've been either hemmed in or they don't realize it themselves that, hey, in order to grow and evolve and develop your career, bringing it back around full circle, yes, this is what you need this person to do. This is the skills that they have. This is what they can do to help you in your business.
That's it.
grow.
So
And
just execute an idea outside of the norm, and you'd be surprised how many people are like, "Oh, that looks like the colour red in a sea of black and white. What is that?" Right? That's it. That's all it is. It's a simple change can change the landscape of the business that you're working in. And my God, is your MD going to be fucking super proud if they turn you turn around and be like, "Listen, this is what I've just done. I had 5 of our biggest target clients on one call. I've got an in with them, and I think we should now give me a budget because I want to run a barbecue or I want to run a summer drinks event or whatever, and I'm going to get those people there."
Tell you,
you're going to get that budget. I'll tell you that much.
It's really interesting. A friend of mine who works in marketing for in a consultancy, and he does something very similar. He doesn't call it a focus group, but it is an exclusive like MD networking dinner, and that's how we market it. So like like-minded peers. It's a private room. It's a fancy restaurant, and you just. Basically, there's no agenda. There's you just come in and you talk shop, and he might have like a starter for 10 question. It's always with like a kind of like a marketing angle around it. But he says the things that people will talk about, struggles, the things that they want, things that they like, the things that they hate. They will do that if they feel like they're being paid attention to, and they think that the audience is the right audience. They will do it each and every time. He said, Basically, it costs my business, say, £500 to put on like a dinner, but I get the right people in the room talking about the stuff I want to talk about, and I leave with like a the bones of a marketing strategy for the next quarter or half year.
Yeah.
And what did it cost me? All I did was ask people to tell me what they need or what they want.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Exactly.
Right?
You spin it. Yeah, it's
or go buy a load of cupcakes and send your recruiters out delivering cupcakes. Whatever you think's going to work.
Whatever works.
Do you know what I mean? If that's, you think that still works in this day and age, by all means, carry on doing that. Because the good recruiters are going to do that. The good recruitment businesses are going to go, no, we want to run a focus group. We want to run a dinner. We want to give some sort of value to our prospects so that they buy from us in the future.
Yeah.
The shit ones are the ones that are going to be like, mince pie drop-offs. Let's go and do that. Like, fine, carry on. Jesus. Get stopped at reception.
Have fun. Exactly. Yeah.
Take your pictures. Make sure you take your photos and get them on social media because personal brand. Don't forget that one.
How can we ever forget? It's all we can do to forget. But.
So, closing thoughts then. Where do you see? I answered your question around the bubble that we're in. Where do you see, here's one for you then, so where do you see the recruitment marketing position evolving? Given the fact that we're both very aligned on that, sales and marketing and recruitment is one and the same now.
Yeah.
Where do you see this evolving out to?
I think there will be a large chunk of the industry that doesn't evolve. It simply knows what it knows, does what it does, and doesn't either have the stomach or just simply the interest in doing anything differently. And, there was one time a thing worked, so let's do more of that thing. Well, that thing doesn't work anymore, but it did once, so we got to do more of it. There'll be more of that. And, the arbitrage of recruitment marketers coming in, getting bored with the job and then going and doing like a comms job for like a not-for-profit, that will continue to happen. But as with a bubble in RecTech, as with a bubble and even in recruitment companies, like the niche ones, they will survive. The ones that kind of present themselves as sort of like that Michelin star quality, they will grow, they will evolve. They will evolve with their marketers as well. And they will find a way to bring them along and say, listen, we've hired you, to be a marketing manager, but we want this person to be in the next 4 to 5 years, head of brand and for this particular division or whatever it is. They can present that vision, but they can also say, this is why we want this person to do, or this is what we want this person to do, this is how we're going to lay it out. So they're thinking of a marketing role that brings in all those other elements. That isn't siloed. That is part sales, part ops, part CFO as well. It kind of can see the forest from the trees. Those are the ones who are going to survive. They're the ones because they just simply need to, and that's how they differentiate themselves. I think there's also going to be like the cringe factor of being a recruitment marketer is going to kind of dampen down a little bit. Like, I work in marketing. What for? A recruitment company. That's kind of going to...
Is that a thing?
Oh, that is absolutely a thing. Like, if you're a marketer for a big B2C brand, and you introduce yourself in networking drinks to someone like me, it's like, oh, well, what brand do you work for? I work for such and such. What do they do? Oh, they're a recruitment company. Oh, cool. That's okay. It's exactly. It's that little kind of like grab the cheek, like, oh, look at you doing your marketing job. But that's that kind of thing, because it's recruitment as an industry is kind of it got that. It still has that stigma.
It will do for a long time.
And it will do for a long time. But the way we combat that and the way that we beat that is we don't necessarily need to be all singing and all dancing to people who aren't involved. But if we're more valuable to our clients and we're more valuable to the wider business that we work, the wider industry that we work in, then our reputation will grow just by virtue of doing that.
No, I think you're absolutely right. I think there's recruitment marketing. There's an acceptance of mediocrity within the role, and that needs to go away.
Absolutely, yeah.
And on both sides, right? If you are in a recruitment marketing role and you're being asked to do things that are just bog basic stupid shit that there's no real logic to, you should feel confident enough to challenge your line manager or the business owner to be like, no, this is stupid. What are we doing?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
What difference is it going to make? And how the fuck are we going to measure it?
Yeah.
There it is, the 3 questions. You answer those questions, you've got a marketing campaign hands down.
Yeah.
But that is the thing. That isn't just an isolated thing. That is kind of like hardwired into what will make any recruitment business, or indeed any professional services company, grow and develop over the next 5 to 10 years, and whatever space AI deems us to exist in. But that is ultimately what it's going to be. That element of quality is always going to be central, and it's going to be the thing that differentiates the from the ah. Yeah. And that's
No, I'm with you. That's cool. Oh, that's a great place to finish on. Yeah.
It is.
Any closing thoughts? How do people reach out to you? Are you taking on clients at the minute?
Absolutely. So, MJO Creative. It's a marketing. It's marvelous marketing for fabulous firms. And by that I mean if you are a business who basically just wants to hear signal among the noise and wants to kind of like, okay, you know what? There's a lot of baffling bullshit around marketing. Just give me what I need to know. That's what we're all about. We don't necessarily want to be around for a long time. We want to make ourselves redundant, kind of get up and running and then be like, good, I understand what's good in marketing. I don't need you anymore. That's exactly what we need. So find me on LinkedIn. I am on LinkedIn as /thatMJO, or this is MJO rather, that is it. And you can visit me at mjocreative.co.uk. Or coming soon, the Marvelous Marketing Matinee podcast. A marketing podcast for LinkedIn. That's basically all the song and dance of a BBC Radio 4 show, but on LinkedIn, hosted by a guy with a radio voice.
Love it. Hey, perfect. Man, appreciate this. Thank you very much for coming on.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Right, guys, that's it for another episode. If you are still listening, appreciate your time, energy, and listening. We'll see you again next week. Thank you. That was good. Oh, went slightly over, but I'm glad we did, because actually it was really, it was solid.